What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Heart Over Height episode. Today we're going to be going over the Bleacher Report article that dropped a couple days ago, August 11th, by Greg Swartz. Landing spots for NBA's best free agents still available. So it's 5 players here. We're just going to break down the roster of all those if they were to sign with those teams. So if you do enjoy this content, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below on whether or not you agree or disagree with these, where you'd like to see these guys go. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. So first up here, we have Jay Crowder signing with the Sacramento Kings. I like this fit a lot. I've been discussing about the Sacramento Kings here for a minute about the DeMar DeRozan signing. And the one thing I said was the issue would be defense. Bringing in a guy like DeMar DeRozan and then having Herter right there guarding the 2-3 spot is going to be pretty tough for them. So you have a guy like Jay Crowder, who not only is a championship vet, but a guy who can mentor Keegan Murray, a 3-and-D player who still has some gas left in the tank at the end of his career, who can help these players just grow. And so I would say you bring Kevin Herter off the bench, and then you slide DeMar to the 2, Keegan to the 3, and then you start Jay Crowder at the 4. So you're running a lineup of Fox, DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Jay Crowder, Sabonis. I like that lineup a whole lot better than currently their lineup that they got going on. And then you have Monk and Herter coming off the bench with, of course, your rookie Devin Carter, Trey Lyles, and Alex Len. Solid backups right there. And Keon Ellis on what his play style is going to be this upcoming year for them, for what his role is going to look like for them. Next up on this list, we do have Doug McDermott going to the Lakers. Now, the Lakers did lose Taurean Prince to free agency to the Bucks. Doug McDermott kind of going to fill in that role of three-point shooting and being able to stretch the floor. You did go out and you drafted Dalton Knecht, but you can never have too many shooters, as proved by Boston, especially for a team who struggles shooting threes, being the Los Angeles Lakers. I know that you re-signed Max Christie also, but I like the addition of Doug McDermott going here or going to a contending squad and being that three-point shooter for the roster. Next up here, an interesting one, Lonnie Walker signing with the Denver Nuggets, and I didn't think about that until right now. I like this a lot. You have kind of a hole here at the shooting guard spot, so why not bring in a guy who doesn't exactly do what Kentavious Caldwell-Pope did, but is a little bit of a fill-in for that role. Of course, you have Russell Westbrook that's going to be coming off the bench. You got Christian Braun and Julian Strawther. It feels like they have a gaping hole here at the shooting guard spot with Christian Braun. We don't know if he's quite ready. Same thing with Julian Strawther. Just don't know if he's quite ready. Just able to add some more depth to this roster, especially with the question marks surrounding Jamal Murray. Didn't necessarily have a great Olympic season. Now, of course, whether that translates over the NBA or anything like that, probably not. He'll probably be just fine. But bringing in Lonnie Walker, which a guy that in just 17 minutes was shooting 38% from 3, is pretty solid. In his career, shoots 39% from 3 on catch and shoot threes. Pretty solid again. And then, like it says it literally right here, identical to what Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was doing with the Nuggets. So that would give them a solid, probably a guy to come off the bench if Christian Braun is ready, or flip it and you have Lonnie Walker start and you bring Christian Braun off the bench. Next up in this article, we do have Marcus Morris Sr., a guy who's towards the end of his career, former Celtic, former everywhere. He's been all over the NBA, but the 76ers are looking for depth. That is the entirety of this roster here. They've done a great job thus far in free agency. Going out and getting Paul George, going out and getting Caleb Martin on a bit of a steal. You went out and you drafted Jared McCain. You have Eric Gordon, of course. You still have Kyle Lowry, Tyrese Maxey. You went out and you got Andre Drummond. But again, one thing that the Celtics proved on winning the championship was you can never have too much depth with dynamic wings. One thing that Marcus Morris does, he plays where you need him to fit. If he needs to be the 3 for certain lineups, he can be the 3. If he needs to be the 4, he can play that 4 role. So I like this a lot for them. although he's not going to play a ton, he might not play at all, depending on how Ricky Council does, depending on how Jared McCain does. They have Reggie Jackson here as well. So it's going to be a tough stretch to get certain minutes, but of course you're preparing for the possibilities of guys having some injuries here, with Joel Embiid being injury prone, Paul George being a bit injury prone, so you then slide everyone up. Let's say Caleb Martin moves to the 3. You then start Marcus Morris at the 4 if an injury does occur. That's just if. Of course, we hope it doesn't. We'd like to see Philly succeed. I mean, being a Celtics fan, obviously I want Boston to succeed, but just being an NBA fan, we want Philly to be back to where they were. I want the East to be competitive and to play and to have tough series and not have cakewalks to the finals. Last but not least here, we do have Isaac Okoro with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, he is a restricted free agent, so any sort of deal that he signs with another roster, the Cavs can match. Let's take a look at their roster, though. Right now, he's currently on the roster because most likely he would re-sign. I think that he does a solid... I like the way they have it set up here because starting Max Strus gives you flexibility with Donovan Mitchell just being able to go a little bit more crazy and being able to space the floor. Of course, I've talked about the possibility of getting rid of either a Mobley or a Jarrett Allen because they kind of clog up the lane for Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell to go crazy. Same thing with Darius Garland. I've discussed possibilities on trading Darius Garland because you did go ahead and re-sign your star in Donovan Mitchell. Then you look at if you bring in Isaac Okoro back. He has been working on that three-point shot. It is getting better with time, but I understand that he isn't the greatest defender, and that can cause a clog. What he is going to be offered, that is just a big question mark. How much money? And if it's too expensive, do you just let him walk? Because is he worth the value of coming off the bench and then, it's saying right here, no other team can offer Okoro more than 12.8 mid-level exception. I kind of like that because it gives Cleveland all the cards to sign him at a cheaper deal. Now, one problem with this is the tax apron. No team wants to go over that first tax apron there. So Isaac Okoro and some of these other free agents kind of get screwed over a little bit because they're not going to be able to sign bigger deals. It seems as if you want a lot of money, you should sign sooner rather than later. You should not wait around. You should get that deal done because these guys that are waiting later, i.e. Markelle Fultz, probably going to get barely a decent contract in the NBA, if a contract at all. Tyus Jones, who at the beginning of free agency, had he signed, he probably would have gotten a lot more money than a veteran minimum, $3.3 million. It seems like Isaac Okoro is going to fall into that category where maybe not a veteran minimum necessarily, but a cheaper contract than we expected. That's also because Cleveland's got a lot of money they got to pay out. They got to pay Jarrett Allen. They got to pay Evan Mobley. You have to pay Donovan Mitchell as you re-sign him. You're going to have to pay Darius Garland. There's a lot of players on this roster that are going to be expecting money. And there's not a lot of playtime going around. Now, of course, if it might open things up if they trade Jarrett Allen or Darius Garland for other players like Isaac Okoro or Caris LeVert. The question is right now Cleveland doesn't really necessarily have an identity. They kind of have just players that are kind of just thrown together a little bit is what it feels like. You just went out and you got a lot of talent. Now you need to move the talent around if it doesn't fit your current roster, right? Like Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, they don't really fit together. Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen don't necessarily fit together. You have a great glue guy right here, Max Strus. Caris LeVert, solid off the bench, but is he going to want a bigger role? Does he fit well with Donovan Mitchell? He's kind of a ball-dominant player. So maybe he just keeps playing, coming off the bench kind of thing. But Isaac Okoro himself could find himself in a different home if Cleveland thinks he's too expensive. So if you guys did enjoy this video, do me a huge favor. Smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below what players you want to see on what rosters with the available free agents left. Do note that Markelle Fultz was left off this list. So Bleacher Report doesn't feel as if he's very valuable in the market, and it seems like he would have been signed already if he was. So with that being said, it's been another Heart Over Hype episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.